Everybody talks about a midlife crisis, but what about a quarter life one? I know it's not popular to talk about your life on here. I should be acting and pretending like everything's fine, especially if I'm going to post this on social media. But I will be completely honest with you. I am very lost right now. The early 20s perplex me so much. I feel the spectrum of life is the most vast within this period of time. You're either nearly engaged, if not married already, or still in the club every weekend. Or maybe you're like me, somewhere in between, just trying to figure life out. If you've ever felt like you're just floating in limbo, welcome to the club. Because today we're diving into the real quarter life crisis that no one is talking about. Part 2. The pressure to have it all together. I don't know about you, but I grew up thinking that by now I'd have more figured out than I do. And to be honest, I have a lot of things that from the outside looking in seem very societally on track. But I often get stuck wondering, do I even want what I have? Am I fulfilled by these societal goals that aren't even in alignment with my personal goals or even personal passions? Now, hear me out. We always hear that phrase, money doesn't buy happiness. And to be honest, I used to think people were on some strong dope whenever they said that. Because what do you mean money doesn't buy happiness when the world and majority of opportunities run on it? Like, I get it. Money itself won't make you happy, but money allows you to do the things that make life enjoyable. Who wouldn't want the freedom to fly to Paris on a whim, to not wake up to an alarm clock, and clock in at a job that doesn't inspire them? So here I am in my early career, working at a renowned company, one that made everyone around me proud, but deep down, I don't like how I'm spending my days. Like, what's the point of even having money if it's only being used to support myself in a city that I can't even imagine staying in that my job brought me to? And in this phase of life with no real dependencies, what am I even working towards if it's for a company's goal and not my own? Money is just a tool. And as humans, we're always going to want more of it. But I've learned that what I want to do requires physical freedom and monetary wealth. Part 3, the mental spiral. Then, of course, the how did I even get here spiral creeps in. How are people my exact age already living the life I want to live? How did they hack the system? And don't even get me started on social media. It feels like my feed is either 20-year-old multimillionaires on a 24/7 vacation, or the rest of society complaining about the cost of living, the 9-to-5 grind, and everything wrong in the world. Or maybe it's just my algorithm that needs some fine-tuning. And then there's guilt. Guilt knowing that I have access, opportunity, food, shelter, family, things that so many people would give everything for. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not privileged enough to have. Yet here I am, disappointed that I haven't figured out how to become a multi-millionaire digital nomad, or that I'm not fulfilled in my day-to-day, even though I have all the components. I guess what frustrates me the most is that I know objectively I have so much. And if you're watching this video, there's a very high chance you can say the same. But I've always been plagued by this deep desire to live an unconventional life. One that doesn't revolve around a typical work week, but instead revolves around passion, exploration, spontaneous adventures, and, of course, work. Because, yes, we all need to support ourselves, but work that I enjoy, on my own terms, in a way that feels fulfilling, that gets me somewhere I want to be with people I want to be with. And I don't want to wait till I'm retired in order to do so. So now what? Here I am, still figuring out what I actually want in life. Watching engagement posts flood my feed, wondering if I should book a one-way ticket somewhere and disappear, and also simultaneously debating if I'm too old to still line my room with LED or fairy lights. Honestly, I don't have the answers, but maybe that's the whole point. Part 4, career confusion And the corporate reality check. Wow, the delusion I had in college. I really thought I'd graduate and just be out here thriving. And truth be told, in many ways, societally, I have. Yet, I'm staring at my laptop for 8+ hours a day, answering emails that make me question my entire existence. And then I start wondering, am I behind? Am I failing? Knowing that, truth be told, in a lot of ways, you're ahead of the game. And then I'm like, but is this normal? It turns out it is. 3 months into my so-called big girl job, I learned a new term: post-grad blues. It's that emotional slump of uncertainty and dissatisfaction so many of us feel after college. The realization that life doesn't magically fall into place just because you have a degree. You go from the structured world of school to the absolute free fall of adulthood, and suddenly nothing feels like it's clicking. And don't even get me started on the whole, should I quit my job and be a full-time content creator? Because at this point, the temptation is very, very real. Part 5, relationships and the great divide. Relationships in your 20s are a trip. Half your friends are married and the other half are swiping through dating apps like it's their second full-time job. And if you're somewhere in the middle, single, situationshipping, or just emotionally unavailable, it feels like there's no roadmap for you. It's conflicting because as a woman, there's always this unspoken clock ticking in the background. Even if I remind myself I have the rest of my life to be with someone, there's still this lingering feeling that by now, I should know who I'm going to marry. Maybe it's because I grew up in the Midwest, where younger marriages are the norm. Or maybe it's because I was the little girl who always dreamed of her wedding day, her husband, and her pristine little kids. But the truth, I have no idea what the future holds. I don't know my timeline on anything. None of us do. And for me to even be able to say that is a miracle. I think we all need a constant reminder that just because people are in relationships, it doesn't mean they're happy. And honestly, there's nothing worse than being in a relationship with the wrong person. At the same time, there are people in deeply fulfilling, happy relationships, and that's amazing. And then there's also the reality that no one talks about enough, is that marriage is work. Not in a bad way, but in a real way. I've heard the saying, marriage doesn't solve your problems, it magnifies the ones you already had. I don't have the life experience to say if that's true yet, but one of my biggest prayers is for God to prepare me for marriage. Because, let's be honest, you're not settling down, you're saddling up for a whole new adventure. Part 6, the existential crisis and trying to find yourself. At some point, we all hit that phase where we're like, what am I even doing with my life? Do I move to a new city? Do I start a side hustle? Do I go back to school? Do I delete social media and become a mysterious person? And then there's the pressure to be on some kind of self-improvement journey. Like, am I meditating enough? Should I be journaling? Should I be doing hot yoga at 6 a.m.? Or is it okay if my biggest achievement today was drinking enough water? Part 7, the truth about figuring it out. No one has it all figured out. And even I have to remind myself of that. Even the people who look like they do, they're just winging it. We all are. And your 20s aren't about having all the answers. They're about trying things, making mistakes, pivoting, and sometimes just surviving. So if you feel lost, confused, or like you're falling behind, trust me, you are not alone. You're just human, and to be honest, we're very similar. So yeah, a quarter-life crisis is real. And if you're going through one, welcome to the club. Drop a comment if you relate, because I feel like we need to talk about this more. And if you want more chaotic but honest life talk, hit that subscribe button, because I promise you, you are not alone in this. Stay safe, and Sonder, love, MJ.